Evening, people. We are back for another, another match preview. First match preview of the season. Obviously, haven't done a live stream since last year, but hopefully, we can all forget last year, forget how, how crap it was. But yeah, we're joined by Josh and Jake tonight. How you lads doing?
All good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, all good, mate. Just buzzing now,
All good, Charlie.
buzzing
All
out.
good.
Only a few days, but yeah, sorry about the connection at the start. My laptop always does that on StreamYard. It's flipping annoying, but yeah, obviously starting off, first game against Mansfield. Just before we do though, I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on sort of pre-season. Obviously, didn't play as many games as we've done over the last few years. I remember with Darryl Clark, we used to play like 12 games of pre-season, but yeah, we are back. But yeah, got a few names in chat. We got Barrow and Tor in chat. Jake Tung, who's a Lincoln fan, how's it going? BRC Talk as well. But remember to like as well. Please share. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. Thanks everyone for 2.7k as well. That's really appreciated. But getting into it. What's your thoughts on pre-season? We go with Jake first. How do you think it all went? All the games and stuff happening behind the scenes as well.
Well, on the pitch and stuff, it's been a bit of a nothing pre-season. I think you look at to pre-season, you look for results don't matter and stuff, but you do look for sort of little green shoots and so on. But there hasn't really been much of that. I don't know if it's because there hasn't been many games and stuff like that. But we've had better pre-seasons in the past, but they don't mean a jot. So I'm not too bothered about anything. I would have liked a few more games. I think this is kind of a weird one where Rovers, they've not played many preseason games, and we've all kind of thought, whereas beforehand we probably played too many, now we've probably gone back the other way. So I think you need to play 3 games in a week during preseason. Obviously we haven't really done that. I think we only played about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, sort of on the field, it's been a bit. It's been okay. Look, we can't judge anything until the first game has been kicked. So, and yeah, I think off the field, I don't know how long you got to talk about that. It's been an interesting preseason, that's for sure, and I think it's been one of definitely divided opinions. But for whether people agree with it or not, but we'll find out. Saturday. Hopefully, everyone will be united as one, and hopefully pick up the first win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like you said, it's been weird. There's obviously a lot of things been going off the field in the past few weeks, and obviously yesterday as well. I'm guessing everyone's seen it on Twitter or anywhere else online. But obviously going with you, Josh. What do you make of preseason? I know you've been to a few of the games as well. Obviously, I haven't been able to get to the games, but I watched the Oxford game, which was obviously good to win. But yeah, what do you make of preseason and sort of players in and everything else going on?
I think Jake's right. You can't really read anything into pre-seasons. Previous ones we've looked like world beaters. We've scored 6-7 goals against minor opposition, whereas this time we've sort of gone with Oxford, Plymouth. It's been disruptive through COVID, which is through no fault of our own. I think the most important thing about our pre-season was that going to that pre-season camp beforehand and getting some team spirit going. And some of that stuff was touched on in Mark Little's little write-up he did yesterday about how straight sort of laced Barton is, and I think he's gotten that group together at the start and said sort of, "Are you with me?" And I think those sort of team building exercises and bonding and the fitness beforehand is more so what you build your base on. Match obviously minutes are important, especially with COVID, and you've got the likes of Sam Finley, Paul Coots, and Hanlon, who've have obviously suffered with COVID and the isolation process. And I put every club in the country is going to be halted at some point because of it. So it's sort of making the best of a bad situation. And I think we've done what we could do, and via the disruptions, like with the Swansea game, it's sort of out of our hands, and it means nothing until Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, like you said, with players, it's been quite annoying. I think obviously we'll get into predictions and lineups and stuff like that, but obviously it's been annoying because a lot of the new signings, especially the likes of Finley, is probably really good signing on paper. He hasn't even played a single minute yet, which is crazy. I know a lot of teams as well have been suffering the same as us with COVID. People having COVID and stuff like that, but Rovers has affected us quite a lot. Like you've seen different games. There's obviously been, I think one positive is that you've seen a lot of the youth players involved, which I think is a good thing. But like you said, Coots has only played, I think, one half, which was the Oxford game. Finley hasn't played nothing, and obviously going on talking about new transfers, we've made obviously 13 transfers far. Going with what ones stand out for you? Players coming in.
Well, the ones that I think Thomas definitely stands out to me, 100%. He's definitely got something about him. I hate to use the term flair, but he's got that kind of sort of the way he sort of glides across the field is such a cringeworthy way of putting it, but sort of that kind of the way he kind of moves himself. I think Pittman's going to be a big signing for us as well. But I think Thomas is going to be the main signing for us. He's a bit gutted. He can't. Big gutted. He's only on loan. But who knows if we're pushing at the right end of the division this season, and if we do go out, then we could get him permanently. I think Thomas is going to be the standout player. I think he's going to be that key, whether we finish here or here. So I think if we keep him fit, then who knows what we could do. But yeah, I think Thomas certainly stands out to me so far.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with in terms of what we lacked last season. The first and foremost was the leadership qualities, and our first sort of 4 or 5 signings were captains of previous clubs, and I think that was clearly evident throughout the whole of last season that the whole group just lacked leadership. And we've got a lot of players now that have come in that will take responsibility. Your Mark Hughes, your Anderton, your Paul Coots, and your Sam Finleys. And I think Paul Coots is going to go under the radar, but he's going to be a massive signing for us. He sort of doesn't do anything sort of outstanding, but he's always there putting out the fires. And if you look and if you ask Derby fans, you ask Sheffield United fans during his time there, they'll tell you the same thing. He just quietly goes about his business. Sometimes he's a little rash, but he's got that bite that we've definitely missed. But I think in terms of attacking flair, yeah, we've done very well to get the likes of Trevor Clark, the wing back, Harry Anderson. You got Luke Thomas as well, and you got your Aaron Collins and Pittman, who are going to hopefully sort of convert the chances we couldn't put away last season.
Yeah, fingers crossed they're all going to be a big help. Big up to Swans Away Days and Door as well. Go and subscribe to their channels as well. But yes, it's going to, like you said, it's going to be interesting. I think, like you said, Luke Thomas especially looks class, and he's not even, obviously last season didn't play a lot of football. So he's, in pre-season he's already looked quality.
He's got great hair.
When he's yeah, great air as well. Like the League Two Phil Foden apparently. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But he looks class, and obviously look like Pittman as well. Got 2 goals on his debut. I don't obviously, people might be like, oh, he's going to be amazing, but we'll see. I think with the wide options we've got, the creativity, we should be fine. Scoring goals. Hopefully, obviously last season was a shambles in that, not scoring many goals, relying on Brandon Hanlon most of the time, and obviously Nicholson until he got injured. But that's a big thing as well. We still got Nicholson to come back as well, and he was obviously unbelievable last season, especially on a free as well. So, when he comes back, it's going to be hard picking a team really. If we're on form, you got the likes of Anderson, Thomas, Pittman, Collins, even Hanlon. He did have a good start with Rovers, but sort of fell off it a bit. But I think that was because we was relying too much on him. I think now he's got the likes of Pittman to help him and more competition. I think that could make him better. But also, obviously, getting on to Mansfield then. Obviously, didn't have the best season last year, finished 16th in the league. They've always been favourites the last couple of back-in of their ownership. Obviously, Coughlin went there, failed miserably, thank God, after he, just backstabbed us and left us when we was in, fourth in the league. But what's your sort of thoughts on Mansfield and, with, a new manager who come in last season in Nigel Clough, starting off with you, Jay, what do you make of Mansfield this season and sort of their transfers? I think they've done some good business.
Yeah, I think anything less than a top 10 finish, I think, for Mansfield would be disappointing. They've invested quite well. I've never been the biggest fan of Nigel Clough. I don't know why. I don't know. I kind of, I think he got burned up to the Championship, but Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank did 3/4 of the job and he nearly pissed it down the drain. But I think he'll do a good job there. I think he'll get them playing good football, and I think, I said they'll be towards the top. And I think, as I said, the amount of money they've invested, they've got to be starting seeing results now. And I said I think Mansfield, they'll be in the mix. I think they got a decent manager to get them out of League Two. Even though I'm not his biggest fan, I think Clough will do a good job for him this year.
Yeah. And I mean, it's going to be interesting. They've signed, I think, two good signings for them is the two strikers they brought in. One who was at Orient last season. He got nearly 20 goals, or maybe have got over 20 goals on a free as well. And also Reece Oates, who done quality for Hartlepool last season, ended up getting them promoted, got over 20 goals. So, yeah, Josh, what's your sort of thoughts on them and, Clough and where they can finish?
Yeah, Clough's one of those where it's not necessarily, you don't sort of see a Clough side and his flair beautiful, not off the cuff football, but it is results driven, and he's a very man-to-man management. Apparently, if you listen to a lot of podcasts with former players who have been managed by him, he's very much sort of, if you do well, you will be rewarded with day offs and go to Malaga or wherever away, and he's very much quite old school, a bit like his dad. But yeah, again, Mansfield spent a lot of money the last few seasons and have not really lived up to their expectations. But this season, I think it's a couple of really shrewd signings at Danny Johnson, Ollie Hawkins as well. He was a foreign in a lot of sides in League One. He's just a sort of massive presence, and you got your Ollie Clark as well, and that bit of bite. Maybe it's going to take him a season to sort of come out of his shell and really start to show sort of what he's about. He's got a lot of leaders at Mansfield, and it's going to be a hard task on Saturday. But I think they're one of the sort of top 5 for me to really push on this season and sort of try and get a promotion. And I think they got the right man really to do it. If they've took too many risks with the likes of Coughlin and the previous managerial stuff, so they've gone with a sort of solid managerial appointment now, and I think they can't go too far wrong.
Yeah, completely agree. And like you said, I think the thing that's gonna be interesting during the game and also going on pre-season talk is most of their team have played together in pre-season. I've seen some of their results and the lineups, and a lot of them have played. I don't think they've had many COVID issues and stuff, so that's sort of a bad thing for us because basing or trying to figure out a lineup. Obviously, we'll go through it in a short while, but I think that's the thing that could help Mansfield on Saturday, that they've played. It's pretty much the sort of same team they had last year, but obviously they've added a few players, like we pointed out, the two strikers, Ollie Hawkins as well, who was the only player they've spent money on. They've brought in, I think they brought in that keeper who was at Southend, young goalkeeper who was at Southend, conceded 4 against us when Ed Upson scored that worldie, and then he somehow got a transfer. Yeah, and then somehow got a transfer to Man United. So, yeah, he's on loan from United. But now it's going to be interesting as well. Also, now going to be doing like a few little predictions. I thought would be good to do right at the start of the season. Going to go look at who you think the young player of the season will be, top goal scorer, player of the season, loan of the season, and where we'll finish. Because obviously, I've done. A lot of Rovers fans have, a lot of them have disagreed with me because I'm pretty optimistic, and I obviously put us to finish first in the league. But starting off, looking at the young players in the squad, who do you think will be, starting off with you, Jake? Who do you think will be young player of the season?
Coming to me first, always. I don't even know who the young players are. That's how much attention I've given it all the way through. Young players, I think it's going to be very close. When you've got Luca Hall coming through, I'm not sure if they put Thomas under that bracket. I mean, he's 22, I suppose, but I think for a young player, and I mean, unless how well he plays, but I think I could. If he plays enough games, I think they could probably give it to like Connor Taylor. To be honest, if he plays enough games at centre half, I think he's definitely a good enough shape for it. I can't see any players going for isn't it as an attacking sense getting the young player of the season award, but I think definitely like Luca Hall or Taylor would definitely be a good shout for that award. It's too early to tell, but I think you can kind of get a rough idea of who it's going to be. I mean, sometimes they only got to play 30 minutes and they're the young player of the season, so so it's it's it happens. So yeah, I think either one of those two probably get it.
Yeah, I mean, he's quickly going on. Obviously, talked about Hall. I think he's had a really good preseason. I'm pretty sure he's played every game as well. And he's obviously had rave reviews. I remember after the Plymouth game, Barton was saying that how good he's been. Obviously, the shirt numbers come out yesterday, and obviously there's no number 2. Do you think we'll be getting a right back? Because I'm not. Obviously, you don't know with Rovers because last season we played, 3 at the back a lot with wing backs. Do you think we'll be in the race for a right back?
Potentially. I'm not sure. I mean, if you got, is it Anderson? Is it Anderson? Anderson who can play there. Probably both of them can play there. And you got Nicholson. You could play there. A push comes to shove. I mean, you have got Rodman, I suppose. I mean, he looks so uncomfortable at right wing back. I mean, it looks like he's wearing the wrong shoes. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rovers sign another right back. But I wouldn't say that Rovers definitely need one. But yeah, I can see it happening for sure.
Yeah. Josh, going on with you as well. Who do you think? Looking at the young players, Hall, Walker, and stuff like that, maybe even Taylor in the mix. Who do you think could be the standout one this season?
I think if he's given a chance, because what we've seen sort of so far is the fact we'll probably play with wing back, so Luca Hall may not feature as much. But yeah, from pre-season, I think he certainly looked a shining light. But you've got the likes of Connor Taylor, who's come in. I was speaking to some scouts at Melksham who were from Stoke coming down to watch him, and they said he's sort of in the same mould as that Harry Soto who Joey Barton sort of took under his wing at Fleetwood, and they were so impressed with how that went that they're going to give us another sort of promising young player for them to nurture. So it'd be interesting to see if Connor Taylor plays as much as sort of his promise is preceding him. And another kid who I think will play quite a bit is Sean Spence from Crystal Palace. It'd be interesting to see how he plays. Again, injuries and sort of COVID and disruptions, we haven't really seen much of him. But he's come with a lot of promise on his hands. So I think Sean Spence, Luca Hall, and Taylor are my 3.
Yeah, you completely agree. I think Spence looked really good off the bench against Oxford as well. Obviously, it's been weird though with pre-season. They haven't really put many highlights out. So if you don't go to the game, which I've not managed to do, then you can't see how well they've done. But I obviously come off the bench, and who was the other one? Ryan Jones. I'm not sure how much of a chance he'll get, but he looked quality. His pressing for the Pittman goal was exceptional, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Got some more comments as well. Got the Young Fan Podcast, who's Oxford fan, says good luck start of the season. I'm sure you'll get the win and be with us in League One in no time. Yeah, hopefully, mate. Cheers for the support as well. We also got FPL Penguin as well. Big up to you as well. Always supporting the channel. Good luck for your content as well for the FPL. I'll be watching that a lot as well. But yeah, going on to loan players, we signed obviously a few. Obviously, the most notably one being Luke Thomas. Obviously, chatting about Taylor as well. I'm guessing you two will say Luke Thomas. Starting off with you, Jake, for best loan player this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's that was going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. He's the only player I've heard of that we've signed on loan. So out of the other two, so and he's come with the most pedigree and the most games sort of played. So he's definitely going to be my loan pick. But yeah, definitely, I think he'd be a top player at this level.
Yeah, fingers crossed. If he can show the class and the confidence like he did against Oxford in League Two, then I'm sure he's gonna be quality. Josh, what about you? I'm guessing you're gonna agree and say Luke Thomas as well.
Yeah, I mean the lads from Cheltenham. So they said at Ipswich he sort of found it hard with COVID and everything. And it's almost like he's sort of come back home to sort of recreate his career and get it back on track. But yeah, just looking at him now, he's not a League Two player. He's got that low centre of gravity, and he can play on the wing or down the middle, and he sort of knows when a challenge is coming in. And I think if we can keep him fit, then he could be the difference in a lot of sort of tight games, which you find in League Two when you've got your banks of five. I reckon he can be the difference to sort of unlock that.
Yeah, I completely agree. He looks class, like you said. Even on Saturday, you could see his agility, his skill, and that's the thing. He's not even fully fit yet. So once we get him fit, he's going to be quality. And even the bit of play where he had I think it was when Pittman hit the crossbar with the header. You had Thomas. He literally turned around, played it over the top through ball straight onto Pittman's head, and it was only the bar from not getting Pittman a hat trick. So yeah, Thomas, I think it'd be class. We got another comment. Jake Tongue, who's a Lincoln fan, says, heard Harry Anderson is your best player. I mean, to be honest with you, he's obviously played a few times. He hasn't looked the best for me, but I think it's hard, especially in preseason. I think he got a knock as well, didn't he, in that Havant game where they were just taking out all our players. But no, I think Harry Anderson is also class on a free as well. That's the good thing with Rovers squad. I think our squad's even stronger than last season. On paper, you can, especially going forward in the midfield. Maybe the defense is good, but I think with the more games everyone plays, and it's going to be interesting. Like I said, if we get on a roll of games, and you've got say Anderson on the bench or Anderson starting, and they're playing well, it's going to be hard to get in the squad. So that's the good thing. Why I think mainly we'll get promoted because of the quality. But we're going to other predictions. Next up, signing of the season can either be loan or permanent. Starting off with you, Jake. What do you reckon? Do you reckon Pittman can be that player, or anyone else for you?
I'm going to put my neck on the line. I don't normally tend to go for players who aren't further forward, but I reckon Mark Hughes is an early contender because he's come in and he looks like that confident head that Aimer should have been. It looks like he's got a set of bollocks on him, which Aimer didn't. And even just some friendly games. In fact, you can see that just some friendly games, and he's sort of organising the team out and stuff. It does help. So I think, as I said before, Pittman might get all the goals, and Thomas might do all the fancy shit and whatnot. I think players like Hughes and Coots, when they play, they sometimes stand out. Well, they don't stand out, but they're just as important as those players who does all the stuff at the other end of the pitch. So, yeah, I think early contender. I mean, the thing is, ask me in 10 months' time, but I think I think Hughes is definitely going to be up there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only thing that worries me about it is I think if he was to play, I think we'd have to play a back three because his pace worries me. I know he's got the experience, but in the leadership, you've seen it on every game I've seen so far in pre-season. Him talking and stuff. But the goal that Oxford scored, the second one where it was literally a ball over the top, and he was done for. That's the only thing that worries me. I think. Yeah, you missed that. But that's the only thing that worries me. I think because how old is he? 34, and he 35 this season. I mean, I think he'll still be class, but that's just what we got. Because I think if you're an opposition manager and you see that, then I think they'll target him with if they've got like a pacey young player or young attacker. But to be fair, overall, I think he will be quality for us this season, and he's going to be a lot better than Ema. I'd pray to God for. But Josh, what about you? What do you think the best signing will be for Rovers?
I said at the start, I think it's going to be Paul Coots and Mark here. I just think it's the leadership, and I've said this on my shows and my radio show and stuff. It's not necessarily the pool of talent you got to get you out of League Two. It's the individuals and the sort of camaraderie it creates. If you look at the likes of Cheltenham and stuff, you've come up last season and Cambridge, they didn't necessarily have the best squad, but they had the best team spirit. And you're going to be looking at the likes of Coots, Finley, Hughes to recreate that. And I think we haven't seen Sam Finley yet, but I reckon he's going to be one of our best signings.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I just say as well before we move on a bit? I wouldn't be surprised if Balshaw becomes our number one keeper before the end of the season. I won't be at all surprised because I think I know I'm sticking me edit on a stick here. Do you know what I mean? I might as well just hold it like that. But I think when I look at Jacola, he's missed like a whole season really through injury and so on. I know he's going to miss 4 or 5 games for international games, but I think if not the end of this season, but I think by the start of next season, I think Balshaw will become number one. I think. I know, brave prediction, I know. But he's a new signing. I thought he might weave into the conversation nicely. But yeah, I think he'll become number one as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that. To be fair, I really like the season as well. The signing, sorry. And I think he's got the winning mentality. It might be lower down, but he's worked his way up. He was played every single game last season for Harrogate, as they stay. I'm not sure why he's actually going. It's a bit of a weird one. He was a fan's favourite. He got 2 promotions. I know they might be out of the National League and National League North, but still, it's that winning mentality. And yeah, he's looked good. It's going to be interesting though. Like you said, Jacola has he's had a season out. He's been out for 2 half seasons. We missed him massively, but I just hope and pray this is. This is a season where he can properly stay fit as well. Big up Harry as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel, Gas Harry Vlogs. He's done really well. Quality vlog against Oxford. So, yeah, go and sub to him as well. Messi to the Gas. I mean, a few people have said that. Why not? Why not come to Bristol? Great place, great fans, great stadium as well.
On the Mother Road.
Exactly. Road, and he's even got a new Weatherspoons to bring his family before the game. So
I'll be there.
We'll see. We got Mike Willett as well. Big up Mike. If I'm looking purely at ages of players, I think we got the balance about right. Impossible to know how good these lads will be, though. I'm hoping Westy will step up a gear and do the business. Yeah. That's another one, actually, I wanted to bring up. Zane Westbrook. Obviously, last season, up until Barton coming, he was getting played out of position. Sorry. But then when Barton coming, he definitely did look a lot better. What's your guys' thoughts? Because he could be. I said it on a tweet the other day. I think he could be a big player if he steps up and is consistent, because he can be. He's got the talent. Done well towards the end of the season. What do you guys think? Go with Josh. What do you think of Zane Westbrook for this season?
I think it's been quite interesting during preseason because he's played in every one, but you almost see from the Oxford game that maybe Grant and Coots will play in a pivot, and the furthest man forward would be Luke Thomas, and then you've got Nicholson. You've got so many people that can play that sort of number 10, whether or not it will be played deeper and sort of implement his sort of playmaking skills from deeper. Yeah, I agree. He was quite frustrating last season. He was almost a luxury we couldn't really afford in a team that needed to sort of battle and get in amongst it. But we saw that with a lot of players, and I think he's done it elsewhere, and you can see that there's a player in there. We just need to see maybe with the likes of Coots and Grant as that shield, we might see the best of him this season, and hopefully he'll start creating and sort of come into the fold like he was supposed to last season, because you don't become a bad player overnight. So hopefully he can recreate some of the form he was with Coventry.
Yeah. And like you bring up there, that's a good point, actually. I think, last season he had, Ed Upson in front of him. This season he's got Grant, who's also improved from last year from when Barton come in. And like you said, Coots as well. I think, like you said, I think if say we were going to sort of play like a 3-5-2 or like a 3-4-1-2, and you've got Westbrook, the more attacking midfielder, just behind the two strikers and the forwards, I think that could work. Jake, what about you? What do you make of Westbrook this season? Do you reckon it's his time to sort of kick on now and be that player that we know he can be?
I think with Westbrook, I use the term luxury player, but I think with Westbrook, he's only a good player in a good team. He's not the kind of player that if you're doing poor, he's still the diamond in the rough. When Westbrook is on it, he doesn't seem a bad player, but when he's off his game, he looks fucking rubbish. And sadly, that was more often than not last year. The thing is, I just when I look at the team now, like Josh said, I don't know where he can really fit into. I'm not saying he's surplus or anything, but I can't see him starting every game. I don't know, but he certainly needs to work on his crossing ability from a corner kick.
Oh yeah.
I mean the thing is, I mean this is coming from a bloke who can't kick a ball off the fucking ground, right? And I can do a better corner kick than he can. All right, so, Westbrook, man, there's certainly worse players than I've seen than him. He's not a bad player, but he needs to kind of put his big boy trousers on a bit. I think he tried to hide last season. I think this season he needs to kind of step up, basically. Because he's not. When I look at Westbrook, there's nothing about him that makes me think, yeah, he stands out compared to this person, or he provides anything different to this person. And when you've got players like that, where does he go? Okay, he leaves Rovers. Who's going to sign him? Because he's not done anything at Rovers since going there. He was expected to come to Rovers and be a big game player, and he hasn't been yet. So what if for 6 months or a few months down the line in January, Barton thinks, fuck this, I'm getting rid of him. I'm going to throw him out. Not literally. I'm going to throw him out. I'm going to send him out on loan or sell him. Who's going to take him? Especially if, like I said, if he's not performing. So it's a big season for Westbrook. I think it's a big season for a lot of these players that are still here from last year. I think Barton's made it clear that if he could have got rid of every single one of them, maybe apart from one or two, then he would have done, and he's near enough done that. But yeah, players like Westbrook, I think he should be worried if he doesn't start performing. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think you both obviously make great points, but what you both said about is that obviously the quality we've brought in the middle. I think hopefully this is his case to say, wow, we've brought in some really good midfielders, because I think we have and you still got the likes of Grant's improved. even Martinez he's another one this I completely forgot about, but because he's been out with COVID all pre-season. He was class when he come in. I know it's different positions, but he sort of stood out. You wouldn't have thought Martinez was sort of the big name we brought in, but hopefully with the quality we've brought in, he steps up his game because he needs to. Because like you said, because even before he come to us, he was linked with like so many like good clubs, like championship clubs. Even apparently Bristol City wanted him, Fulham, West Brom. There were loads of clubs that wanted him. So I'm sure, hopefully he can step up. But got a few comments as well. Joe Lewis said, look for a new right back or give Hall the chance. I mean, we spoke about that. I think we do. I think we will get a new right back, but I think definitely got to give Luca Hall a chance because he's deserved it in pre-season. So we'll see what happens. Harry says, Charlie, did you message Tom Gorringe? Yeah, I've had, as you probably know, if you've seen my Insta story or whatever, I've had problems with my ticket for Mansfield. It still hasn't. Well. Yeah, it still hasn't arrived yet, which is frustrating. But yeah, I messaged Tom. I give them an email, but they haven't got back yet. I'm hoping it's in my letterbox tomorrow morning, or otherwise I'll have to go in to the ticket office in Mansfield. Jake says, what's happening with your manager, by the way? Yeah, he's here for now. What happens in December? But Mike Willett says he's a player that needs good quality around him. I agree. You imagine that Pittman will be rubbing his hands. Yeah, Pittman, with the quality we brought in, and now we've got even fighting for places there because obviously Collins, everyone was like, oh yeah, start Collins, and now all of a sudden we brought in Pittman, so it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of fighting for places, which is always good. Someone, Mr. Tapman says, I hope Rovers can get promoted this season. Being a Rochdale fan, I hope we can go up as champions. Harry says Zane very overrated. A lot of people do say that, to be fair. Yeah, like we just said then, maybe with Joey Barton in charge for a whole season or half a season, depending on what happens, then maybe maybe Zane can step up as well. Last one as well, Mike Willett says, can't forget that Westbrook was in the top 5 chances created. That is true for last season. To be fair, he did quite a lot. I know off the ball, it looks like his sort of body language isn't quite right, but he does still. And even last season, he created a lot of chances. So hopefully, with better strikers, we can, he can do better, get more assists, and we can finish more chances as well. Morgan Gray's in as well. Yes, Charlie. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit the like button as well. We're going to get on lineups and predictions in a minute as well. And anyone know why Pittman chose 40, number 40? Apparently it is because of how many goals he's getting this season, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, getting on, that's another one. Talking about 40 goals, Brett Pittman. Starting with you, Josh, who will finish top goal scorer this season?
For Rovers or in League 2?
Yeah, Rovers. Top goal scorer for the Gas. Because it's hard to choose. So many. You think Brett Pittman?
Yeah, because Collins isn't a out-and-out striker. He can play 10 off the left. He'll create as many as he scores, I'd imagine. And then you've got the likes of Saunders, Pittman and Hanlon sort of all competing for that central forward role. I think if we can get the chances created, like Michael was saying, if we got the quality around him, Brett Pittman's going to be rubbing his hands, and there's no one better in that division or the division above for sort of sniffing out a goal out of nothing. Look at what happened in his debut. I know it's a pre-season friendly, but you got to take chances to score them, and he had 3 touches of the ball, scored 2 goals, and what have we been lacking last season? It's someone who can sort of get a goal out of nothing. And I've been speaking a lot to Swindon and Bristol City fans who said that he was one of the best finishers they've seen at their club, but equally frustrate you just as much with his movement elsewhere. But if he feels comfortable at the club and with the players around him, you'll get the best out of him, and he'll score 20 goals plus. I reckon Pittman will be our top scorer.
Yeah, interesting one. I mean, like you said, I don't want to bring up his name, but the snake that was at Rovers, he was sort of another one. He was obviously they're completely different style workers, but I mean in the way that they'll frustrate you. They'll either, I'm guessing obviously Pittman, they say his movement and stuff, but I think they're both the same as in they get chances, but they'll miss a lot, but they will score a lot for you as well. Because Taylor is the same. Taylor, like I said, don't really want to bring up his name, but at Rovers, he could have scored 40 goals easily a season, but he missed so many chances as well. But he obviously was our top goal scorer, 3 years in a row. And I think Pittman will be the same. He will frustrate some people, but I don't really care as long as he's scoring goals. And like you said, he'll be the one. Like even he can create stuff out of nowhere. Even that goal, that lob was quality, and even in the box he'll be there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Jake, what about you? Are you agreeing with Josh? Are you going for 40 goals, Brett Pittman?
I am, but not as clear cut, I think, as people seem. I think Hannon might push him close. No, I know I'm just, I might as well just.
God, he's pulling him out of the bag tonight, isn't he?
I might as well just have like some of the gun behind my head or something, just waiting for that with that statement. But I think the thing is, as we saw with Hannon in the early part of last season, when he's got, it's weird with Hannon. To me, he got burnt out last year, and when he's up for it and he's fit, he can make things happen. And we saw it early part of last year. But I think there was no service to him. So I think if we can get the service to him, but I do think it'll be Pittman. The thing is, what I always say to with people with strikers is that I think the game now, this is going to sound like I'm an 85-year-old man, but I think the game now, I think far too much is expected of every position out on the pitch. Like you see some strikers, and they're always dropping back into midfield, like Harry Kane's always dropping in midfield, and they'll press out, or they'll drift out wide, or they'll do. And I think one of the best strikers I've seen sort of over the last 20 years is probably Ruud van Nistelrooy, and he only scored 1 goal for Man United outside the penalty box. His whole career, he practically lived in that penalty box. He practically had a home in there. He had a dog. He had a kettle and an oven. He lived in that penalty box. He made that his second home. And ultimately, at the end of the day, as a striker, your job is to put the ball in the net. So, I jokingly said, and I still feel the same, he does look a bit porky. But, like, I can say that, right? But, as long as you put the ball in the back of the net, that's what matters. So I do think Pittman will be our top scorer, but I do think Hannon will push him quite close. I'd almost rather Hannon and Pittman score 15, 16 each rather than Pittman score 30 and no one else score.
Yeah.
That's put so much pressure on him. So I think it'd be Pittman, but I don't know. Would he get 40 though? That's the question. I don't know why not. Why not? I mean, you got all like the
imagine that though, mate. For me, obviously, like you said then about Hannon. To be fair, I think Pittman will make Hanlon. Obviously, Pittman can't make Hanlon's touch any better, but he can make his overall game better. But I tell you what, I'd love it because I'm pretty sure Pittman now is on 178 career goals, which is, people can say all you want about his work rate or whatever, but which is, not many players in professional football, even in the Premier League, have scored 178 goals. If he can get 200 or even close to 200 by the end of the season, I'll be buzzing. But like you said, I think we do need to, split the goals out, because you look at the front line now, it's crazy, really. Like on paper, I hope it works out, obviously, in reality, but on paper, even Nicholson can easily grab a lot of goals when he comes back. You got Thomas, Pittman, Collins. It's crazy. But we will see. But now, getting into the lineups, I know Jake sort of prepared his one before we come on. So we'll start off with Jake first. What lineup would you go for Saturday?
Well, can I just say, this is coming from a man who hates 3 at the back or 5 at the back. I cannot stand 3 or 5 at the back. I don't know why. Like, call me an old school guy. I don't know. To me, it's always 4 at the back. I've always been that way. But I know that's not the formation we're going to play. Yeah, people wonder why I'm a bit strange. So, I know it's gone really dark because the screen I've got is in front of me. So, I'm going to go with Jacola, obviously. I mean, he's going to be in that starting. Anderson to probably play on the wing back, if you like. No real order in terms of the middle of the defenders, but it'll probably be Taylor, Hughes, and Kilgore. I can see Clark starting as the fullback. I can see kind of Coots and Grant in the middle, sort of just sitting in front of the back 4. And I could probably, with Westbrook starting in front, even though I'm not his biggest fan, I think he'll probably be starting there. Then with Saunders, Pittman, and Thomas as the front 3. So that's kind of the formation I'd go with. I think that's probably something that Barton would probably go with in his mind. I said I don't know who most of those players are. They might be good, I suppose. But yeah, I think shows how much attention I played in pre-season. To be fair, I wasn't even drunk this year. But I think it'd be. I think we'll have enough of the time. But that's the lineup I think we'll go for Saturday.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Also, people in the chat, make sure you get your lineups as well. It'd be interesting to see. I've seen a few different ones. It's still hard for me. I'll go over mine at the end. But Josh, what about you? What formation and team would you start on Saturday?
Well, firstly, I agree with Jake. I mean, I've been managing 13 years and I cannot stand 5 at the back.
Oh, I can't stand it. What happened to 4-4-2, eh?
It's not that. It's the fact that most of the time you push you actually actively play as a back 5 and then you invite pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And you get your fullback and your winger doubling up. And how many times did we see that last season where our fullbacks or wing backs are isolated? At this level of football, it's too complicated, like you just said. When you're an international footballer or whatever, and you've got your Kyle Walker, you can play as a sweeper, as a right back, and play various positions all in one game. That's when you can start to overcomplicate things. However, I think we've got a pretty good balance to sort of play this back 3 with these wing backs. So I'd say the same. Jacola to start and goal. Hughes will play. I'm not sure whether Taylor's fit. I thought Grant probably did a good job actually. It's one of the 3, but I'd go Hughes, Taylor, Anderson because he's left-sided, and if Harry's and that's not fit, I'm not saying he's in contention, but Anderson's a left-sided centre back, and then Trevor Clark left, Harry Anderson right, with Coots and Grant in the middle. And I'd go Thomas, Collins, Pittman, and probably Westbrook in behind, if not Collins in the 10, and then Saunders, Pittman, Thomas. Either way, we've got a lot more options going forward this time round.
It's a good idea.
It's the fitness now we're sort of relying on, but it's depth and there's something, it's a squad. The league's a long haul and you need that squad, so everyone's going to feature. But to start the season with a bang, I think we're just going to have to go all out with it, and we've got the flair and the intent to do it, and let's hope it pays off.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now, I think I mean, for me, obviously being the host, I'm gonna go for a different formation that we could play. I wouldn't be surprised if we play with wing backs because we played like a lot of pre-season. But another one. But the only problem is it didn't work last season when Barton, I think he played it in his first game against Wigan. But I'd say a 4-4-3-3.
That's my
think
guy. More traditional and normal. I like that one. That's I mean.
But yeah, for me, 4-3-3. Obviously same keeper, Yakola in any day. But then this one would sort of be a little bit more defensive at the back as well. To help. So I think right back would be Luca Hall. I think he deserves a chance and he's our only technical right back. I wouldn't play Anderson right back. I'll play him wing back, but not right back. And then I'll go with Kilgore and Hughes centre back, with Anderton left back, because like I said, he's more defensive and Clark's more of the attacker. Wing back, if you want to play a formation that with wing backs, and then midfield, I'd play Coots sitting with Grant and Westbrook on either side, and then I would play Pittman up top, Thomas on the right, and then Thomas on the right, and then Saunders on the left. But then obviously you could have Collins, Hanlon. All those lot on the bench. But yeah, that would be. To be honest, preferably I would go with wing backs, but I'm just saying that's another formation we could play because I'm not sure what formation Mansfield play, but obviously their manager was saying it in the preview bit that we don't know what Rovers are going to do because we could play so many different formations with the players and squad we got. But James Dundas said, any news on Nicholson? He's still not fit, still hasn't played. He's still not 100% fit. He's back on the grass and everything, but he's not match fit. So we need him to just get games. I'm sure he'll play a few friendlies with like the under-23s and whatever, but hopefully he'll be back within the next month, hopefully, maybe 3 weeks, but we'll see. I think just his fitness. Ben says, when does Hartlepool play the Gas? I'm not sure, but I can't wait for another Hartlepool trip away anyway. Just hopefully it's not 4-0 defeat. That was the score the last time I went when we got the season we got relegated to the conference. That was the season I went and we lost 4-0 and it was horrendous. But finally, predictions. Get everyone leave your predictions for the game in the comments. We'll start off with Jake. What are you going for predictions-wise?
Well, I'm going to bet steady. I'm going to go 1-1. Because I think it'll be a game. Neither team are going to want to lose that. I mean, it's the first game. I mean, right, which can sound like, the stars are aligning type bloke here. But, there ain't going to be many grounds that aren't... We're laughing at that. There ain't going to be many grounds that aren't full this Saturday, right? So I think this will be a weekend where there's going to be lots of draws because every team's going to be shitting it not to lose. So I think it'd be 1-1. It'd be tight. I can't see many chances, but I think scores aside, and here we go again, that I think it's just good to be back at the football. I think, as long as you don't get pasted 4-0, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? But
don't say that, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be Rovers in a nutshell, wouldn't it? But as long as I think everyone can go there, home and away fans, and just enjoy it. I think that's more important this weekend.
Yeah. Josh, what about you? Are you feeling more confident, or would you take a draw?
It's one of those where both teams are going to look at this and go, "This is a good game to play this side early," because both teams, Rovers especially, are assembling a side which have still got a bed in, and Mansfield have obviously got a few players in. Both are favourites to sort of do well. So is now a good time to play Mansfield? Probably. I'm actually... I feel a lot more confident than I thought I would. And there's not many times I said that last season. I think with the guy, like a massive pivotal influence we lacked last season was the fact we didn't have the fans there, and if those fans and those players knowing that we're there and what they've missed out on, I think we could really sort of rally behind them and push them over the line. And Ollie Clark is going to be one to know what that's going to be like, and he'll have told his teammates what to expect. But I think we're gonna bounce back, and a lot of things that have been going on in the background beforehand are going to be sort of papered over. Win or lose, it's like Jake said. I mean, it's been such a shit year for a lot of reasons, and just for those 90 minutes, just to forget all that crap and be singing your heart out, regardless of what's going on behind the scenes. Just be back supporting your football club. Nice 3 hour drive past Nottingham to see us win in League Two. I can't bloody wait it, to be honest. And I'll take a 1-0, I'll take a 2-1. It can come off the keeper's arse. So I don't give a flying. You know what? I just think we're going to win 2-1. I'll say
2-1. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like you said, I'm just buzzing. I think, like you said, the fans will help massively. And yeah, it's sort of a like you say, good time to play him because his first game. I know they've made some good signings, but so have we. I think the thing, obviously, that a lot of players not playing during pre-season is the thing that worries me. But you know, being optimistic, first game back, we want to see a win. We haven't seen many of them. We want to see the first win back with fans in a league game as well. So I'm going to agree with Josh. I'm going to say 2-1 Rovers. I'm going to say Pittman goal and Luke Thomas worldie as well. And just to put it in there, just to make it even more sort of Rovers related, I'll go Ollie Clark to score for Mansfield, but in a Rovers win. But yeah, we'll see. A few other predictions. Josh Collins says 2-1 close game, but we'll have too much going forward. Wayne Clark says 2-2. Adam the Great 984 says 2-1 Gas. Pittman and Thomas to score. Ben Allison says 3-1 Gas. Pittman. I think he means a Pittman Hattie. Neil Davis says 4-2 Thriller. I would love that because a lot of games, first games of the season, are pretty crazy. So as long as we win, that's good. He said 4-2 Thriller, Pittman Hattie. I
don't think my heart would take that. I'd be back in hospital again by the night, I think, if it was a 4-2 game. I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why are you
that'd be crazy.
Well, funny you should ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
that'd be mad.
I love it. I love it. I just want to be back there. I love it. I can't wait. You don't realise how much you miss it until, you know, when pre-season's got nothing on it, but just being back at the Mem, even in that Havant and Waterloo game, I was just like, how the flaming hell have I coped without this? It's been mental. And I can't wait. I don't care who's in charge. I don't care. You know, it's about those guys on the pitch and that badge. That not this badge, but yeah. And that's all that matters.
I think also as well is because no one did. No one expects it to be this fucking long. I think even had we gone back in the original plan was October, I think, when it last year. I think even it had been then, I think people would have gone, okay, yeah, it was 6 months, but it was towards the end of last season. We only missed a bit of this season. But the fact we missed an entire season and a bit. If you're League One, it's a full season. But like I said, I think it kind of, like this whole pandemic, I think has taught everyone that the things that we take for granted or the things that we don't normally think about, when that's taken away from you and it's not there and you can't go to it, or you can't go to a pub, you can't do whatever. So when it's not there and you can't go to it, it makes you realise, like, fucking hell, like this is massive, and it makes you miss it even more. So I think whoever's going to a game this weekend, just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Get drunk and enjoy it.
Yeah, sit with your mask on. Just be there, innit? Just be there.
Cut a bit in the mask and just drink through it. 100%.
Absolutely buzzing. But Ed Gilson says 5-2 Rovers. Mate, imagine the scenes if that happened. If we scored over 3 goals, or even that 7 goals in a game, Rovers score 5 of them. First game back, absolute scenes. I mean, I should be vlogging as well. I should be vlogging the game. My first ever vlog, because since I started the channel, the games have been pretty much, we've all been able to watch from home. So be interesting the first vlog if it's 5-2 Rovers. I'd take that in a heartbeat. But yeah, I'll be doing a quick match reaction after the game as well. But yeah, thanks. Big up Miss Melina in chat as well. Great content. Arsenal fan, but helps a lot of other creators out as well. So big up to Mel. But yeah, I'm just buzzing for it. Good to be back. Good to first preview of the season. Obviously, there will be previews I'm trying to make it every Wednesday, but I couldn't make yesterday. But just keep an eye out on our socials and you'll see. But yeah, big up everyone tuning in. Smash the like, share the stream. It does help. If you haven't already, vote for me for the content creators awards on Twitter. It's in my pinned tweet to vote. But yeah, big up Jake and Josh for joining me as well, and everyone in chat. And yeah, we'll see you in the next preview next week, and I'll see you for the match reaction video. That will be the first one out. But up the gas, and we'll see you on the next one.
Up the gas. Cheers, guys.
Up the gas.
Are you just gone?
He just left. Are we
we're
still in
live.
the,
We're still
in the show?
We'll continue this while Charlie disappears, shall we? We can just turn this into